Okay, so last night I put that clay color stuff on my lips, and I thought, okay, I'll put that on. I'll just go ahead and put a little of my charcoal stuff on my eyebrows and just go ahead and let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's see if my eyebrows are darker and my lips. And I'm thinking, like, it'll all be wiped off in the morning. I get up in the, well, if you call this morning, it's still the middle of the fucking night. And then go in there. It was still just like totally bright, so I'm like trying to wipe it off. So, anyways, this is the color of the lip stain stuff, kinda like it's brighter than this, but anyways. And then I did my eyebrows again, so maybe they have some color on them. I had to like scrub all the stuff off this morning. But I do kind of think maybe the charcoal is kind of dyeing the white hairs, or I think they're more like white than gray. I don't know. It seems like mine's just turning more white. Right after, I had said that yesterday about that lady, because there's just several, but the one who pops in my mind is like, why did they not have her out there modeling like what you can do as you age? Like, this chick is like, so she popped up on my thing immediately. This happens all the time, the craziest stuff. I'll talk about something, and then I go on the thing on TikTok, and something pops up talking about it. Always, always, always. And they've done this, like, I'll have like conversation in my head, or I'll see something, or I'll be thinking about something, and something will pop up. And this was even strange because I was getting dressed the other day, and like looking at yourself like you do, and standing in front of the mirror, and I was like, man, is this skin like going down? Like, what is going on? Like, is there, I have some exercise I gotta do on my back or something? I was like, that's weird. And so I was thinking about, like, fuck, what exercise would you even do? Like, if the skin on your back starts like drooping down. And so then I saw that one lady, I see her all the time on the ads on YouTube. And nothing wrong with her. She looks like a grandma. But to me, they're pushing a narrative. Like, except you're going to be a grandma. You're going to look like a little old lady. And it's like, no, you don't have to look like that. That's not just, that's the goals as you age. Look like that. That's where you want to head. It's like, no, that's not. Especially when you see ladies like this. So anyways, weirdly enough, she pops up after I say that yesterday. And she's talking about the skin on the back. And so she said she always wears a shapewear. And she even stood back and showed. And this chick is like a fucking size of a 6th grader. Like, she is so tiny. And she says, even when you're skinny, it doesn't matter, because I'm, obviously super skinny. I'm not wearing it to try and do that. But she said the skin, you can't do anything about as you age. The skin starts like drooping and like falling off of you or something. And I had noticed that on my back. I was like, man, that's weird. What's going on? She's like 11 years older than me. And so, and her hair's full gray. And she has totally black eyebrows. And I don't think she wears a lot of makeup. She looks like she probably had black hair when she was younger. And she has like dark eyelashes and dark eyebrows. But I don't know, maybe she does a lot of treatments to her eyebrows and stuff. I don't know all her routine, because I don't just like follow her. I just see her pop up sometimes. And so she was talking about, she always wears the shapewear thing under her clothes because it holds the skin. So like when she doesn't sit down and she's wearing jeans, her skin doesn't go over. And she said, even if you're super skinny like me, your skin will still be loose. So anyways, I just thought, oh, that is, that's weird. I was just thinking about that the day before. Then she kept popping in my mind when I would see that older lady they're using as a model. And I was thinking, man, this lady, she's kind of like hyper too. She's kind of like a real go-getter. She's not at all just like a, just go out there and get your shapewear. No, she's like, you expect her to start doing jumping jacks or something. Like, this lady's, oh, man. Pillows. Sometimes I feel like I'm like way up there. And so she's she's just a go-getter, man. And she's super attractive. She just is like a role model, I think, for women who are aging to be like, well, fuck yeah, I can do that. I don't have to cut my hair. And obviously, we don't have to become thick like they tell us. That is a part of their Get You Sick program, which now the PF has come out. And, well, we just happen to put a little old cell, a little old gene, or whatever you want to call it, some V96, some bullshit, because they got it lined up in a category. I'm sure they have, like, diseases that will just automatically kill them, diseases that we can really stretch out and make them sick. So they went in that category, and all the PF put in something to make sure that everybody got the CA. And so, and then there's a doctor who's talking about, like, he's got all ages and all different kinds of the CA. And my daughter who has, see, I don't tell my kids this stuff that has a thing, because I don't want to put it in their heads, you know, because that is, you know, that's what matters. And I don't want to put that stuff in their head and about being sick from it. And she'll tell me, like she told me a couple months ago, that she's worried she's got the CA, and tons of people, young people and stuff that she knows is getting it. But see, that's what they want to make people sick for a long time. He's got a toy. Hold on. Dude, you're making a lot of noise. That is too noisy. Chew on your real thing. Not that. That's too noisy. I did have him out on the couch, but then he just... See, Stella goes back to sleep in the morning time, like when we get up in the middle of the night. Once she gets me up, then she goes back to sleep. And so I do this, and he, oh no, he just starts bouncing off the walls sometimes, so he's got to be contained. Like Crystal, like, oh my God, you got to get a crate. You got to get a crate for when the puppy comes to visit, and give it a timeout or something sometimes. And then there's training things too. You can do, like when they're jumping up on you. One thing is that they taught us in the dog training class is walk into them. Walk into them when they're trying to do that. Or turn your body the other way. Like, you have to do things. Don't do the push them down and yell. They think you're playing then. So they'll just continue and continue and continue. And you have to be sharp and direct, you know, with your no. And so anyways, but little Twinkle Toes over here, he's got to have time out sometimes, because me and Stella are kind of cranky. We're not about that life. He is so much like about, like, you're trying to walk through the house, he's trying to take your step before you, and if you happen to step on his foot, he looks at you like you're the bitch. It's like, dude, don't put your foot under my foot when I'm stepping down. Don't jump in front of me as I'm opening a door. It's like, dude, oh my God, damn, what the hell? And then you go try to sit down on the couch. You got your cup of tea, you can go sit down, and he's going to sit right where you're going to sit, and he's going to jump and go slide right under. And so you sit down. It's mental. And he does pull shenanigans all the time on Stella. Oh my God, now my nose is starting to run. Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna get a tissue now. Hold on. I just gotta order a box of Kleenex and just keep it sitting here like little old lady style. I don't know what the hell. It's totally raining though. Like, we got fog yesterday, and then I woke up, whatever, I think a couple hours ago, and I was laying there listening to the rain. I was trying to go back to sleep, but my shoulders were killing me. I'm 5'5", 5'1", and I'm down 5'5", 1'5", 5'5", 1'5". I was like, motherfuck. And then I'll be like, okay, show me what it is I need to see. I need to release this pain. Show me what it is I need to see. Why am I holding on to this pain? And So doing all that stuff. But anyways, it's pouring rain. I have to wear fog, so we're being chemically treated, obviously. And but I mean, my nose is always running at this point. It's just like one chemical treatment after another. It's like, oh my God. And the people who have that stuff inside them, I'm sure that this has got stuff to get that party started inside you. You know what I'm saying? Is I'm sure the stuff that is raining down on us is stuff to initiate a process to begin all the time. So, confirmation. And there's like several weird things. The Elon thing, I'm not gonna get upset about the. I mean, yeah, it's disappointing. It's like, come on, but really, we don't know, like, what the plan is, and they do. I mean, the quantum computers, that they are the ones who figured all this shit out. So the best play. So it's not like, I can outsmart the quantum computer and go, well, the best play would be just go ahead and put out the grit, because I don't know, maybe that way showed it was the most chaotic. And they were like, no, but we'll make sure that people are going to know we're hitting into the firmament, because it seems that was what they were trying to really get notice on. Like, hey, guys, the rocket won't go any further, exploded. And some people who were out there watching it, because I did see a lot of videos after I went off, so they must have been launching while I was talking. And then I went on and I was seeing a lot of videos. I'm sure Twitter was full of them, since it's his platform. And so there had to be lots and lots of people who saw that footage. And, those of us who ever watched any flat earth documentaries, we've seen that. We've seen those tests before. We've seen what happens. And so we already knew. And so, yeah, I'm not all interested. There's so many things like that people find so like, oh my God, and they're sharing it, talking about it. And it's like, it's like, ugh, I wish this was going faster, man. I wish this was going faster, but it's out of my hands. It's just weird because you're like, man, what is my role? Like, God damn, I've been going through this a long time now. And but it seems like that's what they were trying to draw attention to. Like, get people to be talking and thinking like, well, firmament, what are you talking about? Firmament? How they get, what's the rocket hitting into? I don't know. Look at, why do we always do fucking Southern accents to initiate stupidity? I don't know. Like, I grew up in the South and I do it. So it just goes, the slow talking. But that's what they used as, programming. They programmed us to believe like the mountain people, the hillbillies, the slow talkers. And then I had seen something recently that language, that slow talking, and where the words run in together, that's some of the oldest language. That's why they wanted us to all be like, oh my God, these people are so stupid. No, because they have got the culture, the heritage. They are bringing something forward, so they have to get us to all be like, oh, they don't. They want us to not see the truth, not understand anything, and not respect and keep divided and stuff like that. And one of the things too, so all those people disappeared in San Francisco, and then a bunch of weird stuff, like all those planters showing up. They look like coffins. Like, that's weird. And just lining down the streets. That's weird. And then, the 99-cent chili wrap. That's weird. And then, so I saw another podcast guy, and I just saw a clip. But he was all set up with his microphone and stuff, so he obviously has a podcast probably on YouTube or something, and then he just shares a little commercial of it on TikTok. And he said, so all around the place, not just California, but everywhere, homeless people have been disappearing, just like in record numbers. It's very strange. Like, everybody keeps saying these people keep disappearing. And what people have noticed is a black van, sometimes a white one, but they're always hanging out. Start noticing in your communities and stuff, these vans all hang out around the park. They're always hanging around where there's a condensed amount of homeless people. And you know, this is a thing too, because there is a white hat segment of our population. And so, because you can go two ways. I mean, you can go into, you know, the planters and the sausages and stuff, which they could be doing all of that stuff to try and, because there's so many of us who know about that, that pay attention, that we know they're liquidating people. They've already put that out. That's the most green way to go. We're just going to liquidate you, spray on the crops. That's the way to go. It's so weird because, you know, it's not real, but it's also, it's trippy. It's so trippy how this works. So anyways, so, you know, they could do all of the things like that to make us, you know, talk about it and think about it and share about it so that other people are like, ooh, wow. Because it's a lot of things. Like I just heard the M, what the M really is. M stands for a number. It's a 1 and a 3. And that represents the original 13. I think they're called Cassimian or something. Well, it sounds like some Italian gangster name. But the 13 original families and everything that had like M&M's, McDonald's, all the things. And then people were going through like the 49ers. That adds up to magic number. Like you start going through and see like, oh, they've got this magic number. People get all caught up on 3-3, but it's no 1-3 represents them. They're all over the place. It's like they've tagged us every way possible. And so you start noticing that. And yeah, we're in their world. This is their world. And so, and the people who are trying to get us to see that we're in their world, which also would make these people feel out of control. Like, hey, dude, we didn't even do that. Which so many of them are arrested at this point. I don't think, you know, there would be the ones that are lower down in the hierarchy that would be like, whoa, what's that about? You know, they don't know what the hell's going on. So they could be tricked easily. But the ones that, I think the main people are already arrested and stuff. And so they could be doing that because one of the things when Trump was talking before, and I haven't listened to his ones lately, I just, it's so focused on trying to get the government, the people who are all caught up in politics. It's like a step down for these people, you know, to go through that. I was like, can't do it. But so he had said, though, a long while ago that when he first mentioned the first Freedom City, and that there was going to be somewhere around Memphis. It seems like it was like Memphis or something. It's some big city in Tennessee. And that it's breaking free. They said it's breaking free from the, what do they call it, the corporation. And it's going to become a republic. So they've even changed the name. It's like Memphis Republic or something like that. And it may not be Memphis, so, you know, I don't remember. You'd have to look it up. And I don't even know how far it's gone in that. But when he was talking about that, about that they're going, that city's going to break free and it's going to become that, and everything's going to be free, and there's going to be land and all sorts of stuff they're giving away to populate this town and to turn it into a freedom city. And then you had all the people jump on like, oh my God, see what he's doing, see what he's doing. And then he also said, we're going to clean up the streets. And so people, you know, on one side were sharing all this stuff about he's going to go in and he's going to clean up the streets. He's going to get these druggy people off the streets. And he's such a monster. And, you know, he just, you know, he's a rich asshole who just, you know, fuck the homeless kind of thing. That's how the one group was twisting it. But when you heard further into it, he was saying, you know, because these people are really struggling and we're going to offer them places to go so that they can get treatment and start living healthier lives if that's what they want. And so he did a whole thing about that. And so I was like, okay, so they're going to start trying to get people who have drug problems and homeless people and stuff off the streets and into safe places and get them started in treatment. I mean, they could already be having access to med beds for all we know. And, you know, I mean, some of those people, like, fuck, man, they're like fucking zombies, dude. They are just like bent over and broken. It's creepy. And so, in the humility, you know, of just going to the bathroom out in front of people on the ground. I guess Frisco was just nasty, like poop and pee everywhere and stuff. What people were saying, it was disgusting for years and years and years. And that a lot of people were just so outraged. Oh, so overnight you can clean it up for this old fucker? And they already had violence in the street. All the people on the bridge that got arrested by these sheriffs. And sheriffs supposedly are the true ones who have power. Sheriffs actually have power. They are, the way it was set up back when it was the Republic. Cops, that's a different thing. That's the corporation. That's their henchmen. But sheriffs were the lawmaker, I don't know if it was lawmakers, because it would have been the people. They were the law, you know, they were the ones who had to keep order. And so, anyways, a huge amount of them went on and arrested all those people on the bridge. So those people got arrested. Then down in the streets, a huge fight broke out because people started taking down the red flags, and it turned into a brawl in the streets there. But but the one podcaster guy was saying these vans pull up, and they go up to these groups of homeless people, and they'll say, hey, you know, we've got a place for you. If you want to come, we'll help you out. We've got, you know, you give them all this stuff. They're offering them all this stuff. And the people get in the van and they're never seen again. And so, you know, they could go to the slaughterhouse and end up in the chili wrap, or they could be actually being taken to a facility, a healing facility, and, you know, getting treatment and getting help. And so, you know, I mean, that's what's remains to be seen, because those people are at most risk. And, you know, slaughterhouse, it's just hard to say, you know, because we don't know for sure. I say that, you know, the white hats are in charge, but then there's still these other henchmen and stuff out there still doing the dirty work. So it's hard to, you know, it's hard to say. Maybe they just haven't gotten all the kidnappers. Maybe that's just like the people have easy, because even the blue stuff, they still take the ORGANs. Those are still usable. They do it in the hospital. So, and that was a part of something about why they were even using this drug or something. I mean, this place is so bizarre world. Like, I just can't believe how important that instrument, not a piano, but the other thing, how those are so important. Like, it's bizarre. I've just said it a million times. It's like, how many could you need? And now you gotta just go and take the people that are living on the streets and just start taking them out of them, and then either turn them into liquid or turn them into sausage or put them in, I mean, I don't know, you know. But anyways, people are saying these people are all disappearing, and all those people did in San Francisco. They all did, right? You know, in front of everybody there. You know, it's got to be the talk of the town, because I've seen a lot of stuff about it. So hold on a second, because something was like popping into my head when I was talking about that. And I was sitting there thinking, okay, I'll just put that. But then I get there and it's like, wait, whoa, what was it? Because something with the homeless people, and well, anyways, it'll remain to be seen what's been happening. And the power grid not going down, I guess, you know, it probably is a good thing, but that doesn't mean it's not going to go down today. It doesn't mean that some other big thing's not going to happen today. You know, they were obviously using it, because when they very first started saying it and saying, oh, we're going to bust open the firmament, and I was like, oh, so they want people to know there's a firmament. They're making this big spectacle about it, because there is like such a divide. I mean, the people who believe in the globe still, they, freak out on people who believe in the flat earth. And it's like, go do research, go look into it, and quit arguing with people who have already done the research and seen. Like, it's absurd. If you think, if you have questions and you're hearing people say, like, this isn't a globe, it's not a globe, there's no space. And then I was thinking even this morning about, it was a few years ago. I think it was like 2020, because I was still talking to my daughter that was here. It seemed like it was at her house when I saw it, because she'd pay attention to all that stuff. Like, I'm sure she's on Twitter. She's got to be seeing this stuff. And so I'm sure she's in the group chat. So, like, but see, then if she did see the rocket launch, and tell them, because then one of my granddaughters did call me last night, and just one chat showed me they put up their tree and they decorated it. They're already out of school. They're out of school for 2 weeks for Thanksgiving. I was like, what? Then what happens about Christmas break? You just go straight into it? I mean, it used to be like you just had that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Now it's 2 weeks. And she goes, yeah, we go back for 2 weeks, then we're out for 2 more weeks. And then we go back and we don't have a break for a long time. And I said, well, we'll see. That's what I'm always saying. We'll see. She's like, then I'm going to be stuck in school forever. I'm like, oh, well, probably not, but we'll see. It's not like I can really say anything, because I'm just the crazy grandma. She's so crazy. Can you believe? She just only says this crazy stuff. Nothing happens. My one daughter, the one who has this, like, the one who I talk about with psychology and stuff like that, the one who's the guardian of my visitor, she is, she was saying, what was it? Oh, yeah, she said something about, well, you're always saying this, or you're always saying that, and, the rocket didn't ever launch or something. And so I sent her a whole bunch of videos of, like, the rocket launch hitting into the firmament. And I mentioned again, like, oh, look, it hits the firmament. Oh, yeah, when I was at my daughter's. Yeah, he did some other rocket launch thing. And it was a fucking car. It was a convertible. And there was a person sitting in this convertible. And it launched, and then she kept showing video of it just driving through downtown, and I don't know, it could have even had a monkey in it or something. Oh, the other day when I thought my paper towel disappeared, I think I'd gotten mad and thrown it, because I found it over there. And so I'd thrown my paper towel. It didn't disappear out of thin air. And so, y'all may have caught that anyways. But anyways, so I was like, that is absurd. That is ridiculous. And, it was catching some people where they're like, that is, and then there was a lot of people saying, that is not even real. That is in a movie studio. Look at that. There's people doing a lot of stuff on that. So I think that was his first kind of attempt to get people to see, like, space isn't real. It's all a show. Because they're launching a convertible and a guy driving. And I was like, okay, this is weird. Like, what the hell is this guy's deal? And, now I think, he's trying to get people to see the distortion in our reality, which I saw a video yesterday of somebody doing a whole thing on Barron and saying he's a time traveler and he's not just a regular human being like what we think and stuff. And the guy, he is very interesting. He's super, super tall, and he's always so quiet. Like, there is and then if it is, like, Melania really is from outside of the ice wall, and, and he is too, because she's like 5'11". She's super, super tall. Trump's like 6'4". And then you see Melania standing up next to him, and she's just like a little shorter, and then Barron's taller than him. And so, I mean, he's tall, and he would be the perfect one to have these, aliens from somewhere else come out and play the part of his wife and son. I don't know. Well, I mean, it could be hybrids, it could be regular humans, it could be, you know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Melania coming out and talking about the spiritual awakening thing. But see, Trump is like the step down or something on the government and religion, because he talks about religion and stuff, and I don't know how they're going to play that out, you know. I mean, hopefully they can walk my mom down off of it, walk her out of that grip of religion. I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, we all know people who are held in the stranglehold of religion, you know. So, we just got to see how, we just got to see how the stuff plays out. It's going to be fascinating. It's going to be exciting and miraculous, whatever. I mean, it would be wild if they come and say, you know, well, Melania and Barron, they're from over on the other side of the ice wall. And then we're like, you mean those are aliens? That's what aliens look like? Well, I thought they were monsters. Well, some of them look like what you think of monsters, but that is because it's their environment is conducive to how they live. Like the Greys, like the ones that they call the Amazonian tribes, call them the ant people. This lady, she was just doing a meditation. And so she said, I was doing a meditation and I was asking to speak to my galactic family, and someone showed up and she got a picture. And she's like, I'm not arguing with any of you guys. I mean, think what you want to think. And she called it not interdimensional, she called it transdimensional or something. You hear all these different words, interdimensional, multidimensional. That's what I usually think of them as, just multidimensional people. They just can go all based on your vibration, but you can go wherever your vibration will take you. Any reality there is, like, it's like a multiplex theater. Like I said, you can go in all the theaters. You got the pass depending on your vibration. So you can go into all the different ones. That's why we have beings that come to ours, because our vibration's low. A lot of different ones can come in and come and do whatever they want. But like, so the picture she got was totally of a Gray's head, and you could see it perfectly, and it had a red dot right on its third eye, and you could see its face. It was cool as shit. And so she was just like, think what you want, but this person showed up. And but the thing is like, their big eyes, so that they can see. And in the darkness, it could, especially if they're in the earth, in the caverns like ants, and that they are, you know, those eyes would be more reflective for their light. That may be why they travel around at night and not in the daytime, like why we don't see them so much in the day, but people see them at night, because they need the darkness to be able to, for their eyes or something. And in this strange thing too with the little Greys, they are supposedly some kind of droid. That's what I think they were trying to do with the white people, is make a little droid. You know, the 13 families wanted LL confirmation droid group, like they're envious of the ant people. Like, we want a droid too. I was like, well, you got to make them. So anyways, the ant people, they don't need a nose, they don't need a smell, they don't need that. And if it's just the two little holes, you know, it could be how it's going to be how their breathing system works and what it is they need. Then their body's going to represent it. So I say our body, our physicality represents more than just like what you look like. It is more than that. What you look like has to do with your path, your life path, what you're here to work on, what you're here to learn about yourself, what you're representing, what part of you you're representing out of like your DNA or something. And I think, though, there's like a little bit of you in all of your different incarnations that, you know, because there's still you shining through. And a lot of people say that, you know, do the reincarnation stuff is the eyes. Like I had seen one where this kid, he was talking about who he was in a past life, and the parents were like, you know, so many of these parents who end up with these kids are always don't believe in reincarnation until they go through this kind of stuff. And then the kid knew the person. He knew his name. He knew how he died. He knew his mom. He knew all this stuff about this guy. So they went and researched and looked it up and found he was a real person. Went and let him meet his mom. He had this beautiful reunion with his mom. It's going to make me cry. And that's when we really get into this kind of way of living. It's like, what a difference, you know. That you can come back and as a different person and still remember and go visit your family. And there's so many. Oh my God, there's so many clips of kids talking. I saw one girl and she's sitting at this picnic table with her mom and she's like, man, I really wish I was a pirate still. And she's like, a pirate? What are you talking about? And this is like a 3-year-old or something. And she goes, when I was a pirate, I really liked it. And she goes, well, when were you a pirate? And she goes, before I came back and was little like this again. And she goes, and the mom's just laughing, you know, you're a pirate and stuff like that. But there's all sorts of, I mean, we've lived all sorts of lives. And okay, because now I've got another one coming in, is this other cool one I had just seen with the angel number things. So gotta do that one. But okay, so the little boy though, when you compared the picture of the man who he was in the picture of the little boy, they had the same eyes. And so there's something about us that goes forward, that never changes, that is seen through our eyes somehow. And so, and you know, I think your face just kind of, it like moves around and stuff, and your color and stuff changes. It all depends on what you're there for, what you're there to experience. And so it all has to do with that. And I drank my Mullen and I've been drinking the Mullen and the tea. So then it starts, I think, loosening stuff up. And so then but the coughing has gotten so much more cleared out. I'm sure my lungs have gotten so much more cleared out. But so this lady, she was all excited too. And she said that she figured out something. She said, I think I broke the matrix. I figured something out about these angel numbers. And she goes, so you people who have been seeing the numbers, so this is what happened. This is her one that she broke it with. So she went into the store and she bought something and it was 4343. And so she's like, wow, 4343. She walks out the door of the store. The license plate in front of her is 888. And so she's like, oh, weird, 888, 4343, 888. And so then she goes and she gets in the car and the husband points out, look at the miles. It's 19191. And she's like, wow, 19111. And so she's like, okay, so 4343, 888, 1919. And so she kept thinking about it and thinking, this is weird. And so then she put it in as coordinates. And it popped up to a little village in France that had been from 1472 or something like that. And she said, it popped up about this little village she was showing. And she said, what's weird is that she had just learned about a past life of her own the week before that was from that village. Like, what? And that time, the same year that popped up when she was looking, it was the same year that the reincarnation, I don't know if she went in and got a session or what, but she had information about it and the fucking coordinates popped up to it. Like, what? And I saw another person who went in further on this stuff. It's just, you know, it's not just like little things popping up. No, there's messages. There's coding happening. They're telling us things. And I can't remember the other one. It was really, really cool too. So I don't know. Like, I guess pay attention to your numbers and stuff. Maybe keep track of them or something. I was like, wow, that is so interesting. I really like that one. And I like the one where the lady got the picture of the gray in her house. It's really cool too. And there, you know, if you didn't see the one in the ocean, the guy who got the sea monster thing, which I don't think it's a tree. I mean, it looks like a sea monster. I used to be, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with all that kind of stuff, like the Loch Ness monster, the Bigfoot, ghost, all that. everything. But I always believed in it. And people were always like, it's not real. But I've always believed in that stuff. And that is one thing, you don't find me swimming in the fucking ocean. Or even, like, when I was a kid, I used to go, I was a water skier, I was a skier, I was a snowboarder. Like, I did all of those kinds of sport things until I broke my shoulder and broke my arm. And then it's just like, I was like, I had to have surgery, I had to be off work for so long. I was just like, fuck. And that's back when I was working. I was just like, and now, as you get older, it's like it's easier and easier to get hurt. And I was like, I don't feel like I need to still go flying down the mountain going 30 miles an hour and hope I don't hit into ice. So anyways, I'm just, that was a different time of my life. But I used to get into water all the time. And even when I learned how to water ski, I was real little. My dad, he had to have the perfect kids. Like, we had to be perfect. And, my poor brother with the red hair, he was like, my dad did not like that. And, but so I had to learn how to water ski, and it used to freak me out because I knew there was water moccasins, and I knew that, you would hear about it. People would be out water skiing and stuff, and then they would go down right into a nest of them and get killed. And it used to freak me out, even back then, about being in the water and stuff. And I'd pull my legs up and I was just in the water. And I'd be like, man, I've always had a horrible fear of alligators and crocodiles. And I've always felt like, they can just put them in the lake. It happens. It happens. And apparently over by Disney World, that there's a water thing. I'm not sure. This guy snuck onto this island. And I don't know if it's in the middle of Disney World. I don't know what the hell I don't know. But so he snuck onto this island that is like Ghost Town Island. It's creepy. But he had to go through these waters. And he had to do it at night. I think he got busted. There's so much going on at Disney World. Like, oh my gosh. Like, they're busted. Like, the big one, I guess, was the water thing. The guy says full of crocodiles and alligators. He said one even got a little boy who was 2 years old. But see, I thought that was next to the hotel. So I don't know if this water is by the hotel and there's an island out there. And I don't know how much the hotel is attached to the park. So I don't know the layout. But he swam through these alligator waters to get over there. He said they're full of alligators and crocodiles. He said he used to scuba dive in there and he would see. And they don't tell the people. And so the people get attacked and killed by these things because the people have no idea the danger. So he went over and got on the island, and I think he ended up getting busted and stuff by security. But the big one that's going on is a couple who took their little girl, and they went to, to spend the day at the place. And then, they're doing the rides and stuff and go have lunch. And the little girl goes, come on, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And the parents are sitting right there and say, okay, go ahead. You can go by yourself. She's not back in a couple minutes. So they go over to look. They open the door. A man has her, goes through a back wall of the bathroom or something. The wall shuts. And the parents are like, what the hell? They go get security. And security comes, can't find an opening. They're making all this stuff. Then they go to security, do the footage. They've scrubbed the footage. They start telling the parents that they came alone. They didn't come with their child. And this is where it can go extreme, where the cops can start accusing the parents and drive the parents nutty and say that the parents arrest them. These wackadoos think they can do whatever the fuck they want. And these henchmen that they have, it's like, but the henchmen could believe like, well, they probably did, like, that's crazy. How can the wall open up and then they're stealing kids? Like, what? And so there's probably, two-way mirrors where they watch. A little kid comes in, no one's in there. Wall opens, guy grabs, wall closes, and the timing, because everything is about timing right now, because we're in this period of time that is exposing the truth. And so the parents are fighting, and they've, made a public thing about it, and the parents are just like a wreck. And then there's another one, and I talked about it a while ago, and it was the I think the weird little ride, the world ride with all the little kid things. Like some of those rides, like I remember going on them so much, is we lived by Disneyland, and I remember going on those rides, and thinking how it is like you're going into another world. It's fun, but you really are, like they really are. There's some sort of portals and stuff, and so they use these portals, and this one. This freaked out some of the people who worked there. And I don't remember how it went down. It was like a family. And I don't know if they got off the ride and went into the wrong thing or something. But anyways, this family got caught out of the ride in another. They went through the portal. And now they're trapped in the other dimension. And they can't get out of the other dimension and get back on the ride. And they're trapped, and the people can see them. They can see the people, and they can't do anything about it. And it's like the imagery that comes into my mind is like, I was sitting here and watching a family on a TV screen that is trapped in the TV, and they're hitting, trying to get out, and they can't get out. And I had heard that was freaking a lot of people out. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's so many weird stories of the place. There's one guy, and I don't know. I think he did this on purpose, but he went through a secret door because he has a camera, and he just went through a random door at, I think, the World one, and went in, and he was in this other place that was. And he's walking around showing all of this weird stuff. And he's right away, these people, what are you doing back here? What are you doing? How did you get back here? And he's walking around like, what is this place? Why you have this here? What is this room? And they keep on being like, well, you can't be back here. You have to be taken out of a special way to get out of here and all this stuff. Like, and it was creepy. It definitely looked like, it's creepy. It's definitely creepy. And then there's so much footage of like these weird, like one, I don't know if it was a house, if it was an Airbnb or something, and then went through a door that took him down into a chamber that took him down into a whole other place. There's a guy who was doing a well, like over in China. I think this was a while ago, because it's a whole place now. But he was digging, and it opened up into a chamber. They found this giant-ass chamber. There's all sorts of things that live underground. There's all sorts of life has been underground, just like we have all this life above ground. It's all different realities, and realities come and go. Just like this one's going. This one's played out. And so we're moving into another one. But the people who will hold on to this one, that they, holding on to a reality that's not real. Like, it's your attachment. But it's you, so you can, play it out. But the energy is dark. So it's not like you can change it and make it into light. It's going to play out dark. So the people who are attached to it will play it out in the dark. It's not going to all of a sudden turn. The turning is by choice. It's by ascension. It's by, you making a decision you want better. It's like all the people who have these things happening inside them that, I want better. And questioning, like, why am I doing this? Why do I go to work and I get nowhere? And the questioning is what gets you to have, better choices, to want more, to expect more, to want a different way of living. It's those questions, those people who are going through that. That's the awakening. And that is the people who are awakening. It's moving towards the age of Aquarius. But it's such a huge process, and it's so long, and it's so tedious, and there's parts of you have to face. And so even as people are awakening, that's why I said it seemed like there was people who are awakening to a lot of other things before this, abrupt turn where you're just, everything is, you see the truth. And I think it's because that would have been way too much. They had to already be questioning some things and stuff. They had to be healing some stuff before they got to this part, because it's going to be so abrupt, and it's going to be such a huge humiliation. And I mean, it was weird yesterday, because I was sitting here. I don't know, I think I was looking on TikTok or something. That's what, sometimes I'll just get obsessed, like trying to find, is there anything going on? Like, what the fuck? It's just commercial, 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 commercial. I'm even getting like tendonitis in my thumb. And there is like a tightness right here. There is I had seen this girl yesterday, and she works in media, and I don't remember where she said she had worked, and I think a couple different ones. And she said, I keep seeing all these people talking about that they're shadow banned on TikTok. But she said, I want to explain to you what's really going on. And it was just the same thing of what I had been saying. It's just turning into a marketing. And that the people who go on, they don't, it's not about the social media interaction anymore. It's gone more towards like Amazon. It's more towards selling and making money. And making money, if you want to be a content creator, they want to make money off of you. Like I was saying, all that stuff. And how many of these content creators have turned their whole accounts into just sales? It's a bizarro world. And it's like, I'm not doing that shit. The other day, I don't know, I was on there, and then for some reason I just thought, I'm going to just put my other videos through that aren't doing anything and just see, does it stay the same numbers? Is it still only allowing 30 people to see it? And so I put them through, and then it went back to normal, where it got a couple hundred views. And so I did a couple more videos, but I have no, I might do a couple more, because sometimes there's something you want to say and it's just short and you just want to say it. So, but they definitely, like, they're taking down big accounts that say anything, and that can be their awakening part. They've built this huge account, and then they just lost all of their whole thing, because I guess Twitchy Witch was a big one. And she was also an expert on stuff that goes over in the Middle East and stuff. And so she had said something. She read a statement, I think, by the UN or something like that. And they took down her whole account. And so there's other people who were talking about, like, censorship. They really are doing censorship. Like, that's real. Like, I mean, but also what that girl is saying is real too. They are just formatting it. They're changing it. It's like they just want to be a marketplace. They just want to be a third party. And they're giving you a place to go and make money. And then these people who get all caught up in, like, I've got so many sales, I'm making so much money and stuff like that, which some of them could be. But there's going to be a lot are going to see, like, fuck, man, I'm getting tons of sales, but I'm not making the money I could be making. Like, I should be making way more, because there's a third party. And then they've got all your advertising content creators. They get a cut. All these people are getting a cut. And so it's not, it's still just matrixy. It's a matrixy. It's the way they just profit off of us, in the way that we think, like, well, there's nothing more we can do. We're limited. Just like with my one daughter, having a conversation with her yesterday. And she was, saying, because her and her girlfriend, they make good money. One of them is a counselor. One of them, I mean, my daughter's made good money for a long time. She just went into her field at the top and was always making a lot of money. She's always gotten good like and she's very she's one of those she's like the kind of girl you'd want working for you. And she's a go-getter. Like, she was managing fucking Orange Julius when she was 16, and she was doing it. She was an assistant. She wasn't like a total manager. She had a manager above her. But she's just always been super mature, super responsible, and she's always had jobs that, other people can be struggling, and she's just like right out there. But she was very driven. Like, that is a part, she followed that type A drive like me, shopaholic, workaholic. And so then once I saw the error of my ways, once I got my brain injury and I started seeing things, then I started trying to tell her, don't go that way. Other friends of hers too. She has this other friend who's such a, oh my gosh, the drive with this girl, like, is crazy. She owns this business. Like, she has been so driven since the beginning. Like, when I very first heard about her, she had rented out a bar for her 18th birthday, and it was like $10,000. She had worked and saved all that money so she could have this big party. Then she took off and she went over to Seattle. She was just going to move away and move to Seattle and try and make it as something in fashion, I think. And then she ended up coming back a few years later, and then she became an esthetician. And then she just started, she owns a whole big old business now. Like, she's such a go-getter, this girl. And I would go and get my facials done by her. And I would tell her too, like, you gotta not just be driven by workaholic. Like, you gotta have some fun and stuff. You gotta enjoy your life. Because, I was a workaholic, see what happens. And so anyways, but my daughter yesterday, she was talking about everybody at her work and how they're struggling. She said people are having such a hard time. They're not making it. They're all broke. They are people crying and stuff. She said it's a big old mess. And then she's told me about her CEO before. And I was like, oh, the CEO is going down. Like, I'm telling you, this energy, this kind of person, especially in a nonprofit, and the way she's putting, I mean, the stuff this woman that she has, and that she's getting, and now she's hired her son, which he's probably making as much as my daughter, and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing about anything. And then she took all of this money and she built this respite center out behind their building. And my daughter said they all went for a tour, and she said she was so mad she couldn't even believe it. She said it was the most absurd thing she's ever seen, and how it was set up. And my daughter was explaining to me, and she was like so mad, and she's like, she put electrical charges in the garage so that people could pull in and charge their cars. She goes, how many fucking poor homeless people have electric cars? She said, it is so fucking absurd. She was so mad. And this woman, this CEO lady who's got this $350,000 handmade Escalade or something. It's all exactly, her made Escalade. And she's very showy, and stuff. And I was like, this is the energy is going down. Like, these people are not going forward. When you are only concerned about you, and like in a nonprofit that is supposed to be helping people with their mental health and stuff, and you're taking that money for your own stuff, her house, I guess, and everything. So she's got these ways of getting the money, and her regular pay is like $350,000. Maybe that's the $350,000. Maybe her car is like $150,000 Escalade or something. But in her yearly pay is $350. But the car could be $350 too. I don't know. The lady's over the top, and I've heard so many stories about this chick for so long, and so she makes $350,000 a year. This is a nonprofit. So all the money, is supposed to be going to, I think if you work at a nonprofit, you wouldn't be thinking that you're going to be, a millionaire or something. You're going to live like a millionaire. And unless you're illegal, unless you're corrupt, like this lady is really blatant. And so and my daughter said she was so mad too because, she knows all these people at work are struggling, and they should be getting their holiday bonuses. That should be the talk. And she said there's nothing. And this is like, people don't see who are working. Yeah, this is how it's going to go because it's trying to push you. And I was trying to tell her. And she said, but, I don't have to have the bonus. Me and we're fine at our house, but, the people we work with and stuff aren't. They need that. They need it now. And this lady gave herself $18,000 bonus. And I try to tell my daughter, okay, but this energy, these people are going. Like, this is the energy that won't go forward in the game. But when people don't understand what you're talking about, they don't understand what you're talking about, And so it just sounds like a bunch of womp, 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 womp. My mom's talking crazy again. And so, but she was like, yeah, but you've been saying this for a long time. And it's like, yeah, but this stuff is happening. It's happening all over the place. Like, you guys don't pay any attention, which blows my fucking mind. But you guys don't pay attention. And this is happening all over the place. There is major arrests being happening every day, all day long. This is the end of the government. This is the end of all this stuff. She's like, yeah, but you keep saying that. It's like, okay, well, it's happening. If you were paying attention, you would see what's happening. And she goes, yeah, well, you said yesterday a rocket was going to go. And so then she goes, but I got to get going. I got to get to my book club. And so I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you later. And, I'm always trying to, get him to, I'm like, this is happening in your life so that you start questioning, like, is this worth it? Is this the lifestyle I want? There's a lot of different ways to live. And, getting yourself convinced. You need your hair done, your nails done, your lashes done. She's one of them. And, her hair's all natural. She's got, she never curled her hair, never colored her hair. She had, hair that grew out. Now her hair is really long, so it grows down, but she had hair that grew out. And, it would always be little things said because it was unusual. But now her hair's, long, like mine, only it's just super wavy. And, so she was, different, her body type and her hair and everything. She was the cutest little thing. And so, anyways, I said, but this is to get you to question your lifestyle. Like, you got to go to work. You got to have a car. You got to have a house. You got to have this. You got to get your lashes done. I said, but that's the lifestyle you're choosing. There's a lot of different ways to live. And I said, there are a lot of people who are pulling free and going and figuring out different ways to live. You're not trapped. It's not you're making choices. And everything in life is showing you that, is this the choice you want to make? Is this really how you want to live? And so everything's being taken away from people and stuff. And then she went to a book club, and we had hung up and stuff. And then I went on TikTok and I had seen all these videos of all the rockets. So I started sending her all these rocket videos. I said, I told you. But they were trying to bust the firmament. And as though they hit it, you can see the explosion. And she didn't ever say anything. And then later in the evening, but my youngest daughter, I know she's on Twitter. And she's always, she was always pointing stuff out. She was always looking at things. She was always the one, she would point things out to me all the time, but she would point things out and I'd be like, we were on two different views. Like, hers is very progressive, especially when I changed my view and I started seeing things that they didn't see. And that's why, she just stopped talking to me. She's thought I was crazy. But she does see things. And I'm sure, her view has got to be opening up of certain things. But so she had to be seeing that rocket launch and stuff. She always liked Elon. And so I'm sure she's on there. She had to be seeing it. So I don't know on their little group chat, if they were all talking about how crazy I was the other day. And then, the rocket really did launch and they really did try and hit the firmament and they really did explode up there when they hit into it. And there's all sorts of footage of it. And so if that was shared on their group chat, like, oh, well, there was. Because they're going to have to keep seeing more and more that I'm not crazy, that things I'm saying are real. And it's going to be a part of their awakening, a part of them seeing, because, like, I'm the layer between reality or something. Like, I have a different reality and they fight against my reality and stay trapped in their own. And so it's like, I don't know, like I'm the troll holding them back from reality or something. Like, I don't fucking know. But I know it has something to do with their awakening and them seeing the truth about me, because they don't see me. They don't see me at all. They don't understand my motivation. They don't understand my viewpoint. They don't understand my perspective. They just don't understand me. And they're fine with that. They don't, but, this is the awakening. And so last night, my granddaughter called and, she was showing me the baby and stuff, and he was playing. He is trying so hard to talk. He just talks and talks and talks. And he may think he's saying real words, but he just talks and talks and talks and just says all these words that, and so you sit there and talk, really? Oh, really? Oh, okay then. Wow. Really? Oh my gosh, are you kidding? And he's just blah, 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 blah. It's so cute. And his birthday was just a year the other day, but the babies being born are another level. Like, he's been walking since he was 9 months old. He's been, I started talking when I was 6 months old. My mom said I started talking real words, like you could understand my words when I was 6 months old. I was talking in sentences and stuff by, I don't know, within a few weeks. And then she would always say, and then you never stopped. You never stopped talking. From 6 months on, you never shut up. So I drove her crazy for one thing. But that's why I can just jump up in the morning and just start talking. So funny, because I just saw this tarot reader the other day. And she's like, okay, I'm trying to get into a routine, getting up at 5 in the morning. It's 5:30, I'm trying to get started and do my reading, but that's why I look like hell. And she's like, they're getting up and they've got their bonnets on still, trying to do stuff. It's like, but anyways, I can just jump up and, start talking. I'm just awake. And so, my stomach's growling. And I'm going to try and fast today. I'm going to try and just do tea, but, these fucking parasites that just, gnawing at my stomach all the time, growling in there. So, but I'm going to try and do that, because it's good for your system. Somebody had said in the comments, but then I also saw a video, of course, today, talking about the autophagy, or however you say it, the way the cells eat up the bad cells and break down the bad cells, and it's like regenerates itself when you spend time not eating. And see, that is like when we're coming out of a gluttonous consumerism society. Because before, when we weren't just having corporations trying to fatten us up for the holidays, that they would we went through periods of time of not eating. And then think about that too, the gratitude you have when you do. It was like we had a totally different way of existence, and so I think that there probably was more time, more space in between meals that did keep our bodies. But they started in with diseases and stuff a long time ago. I mean, these 13 original people, these original families, are from the beginning. Even Mateus de Stefano talks about them from all the way in the beginning. And that they were, it's like they were left to be in charge. But it's like, I don't know, it went to their head, or humans became so annoying to them. And then they used them as like fun or something. I don't know. Those people, they think they're so much better than us and stuff. I don't think that they were expecting, all these souls to come in that were like, hey, can't trick us. We remember. And, we're not 100% here. We're not in the trap. And I don't know, I don't know how it all works. Like, I don't know why they weren't able to trap me. Man, my stomach. Yeah, it's gonna be hard not to eat because I want to go eat. So it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard not to eat. But it is, I don't know how some of us weren't tricked. Like, the only thing I can understand about it is because it was supposed to be that way. There was supposed to be people who came in who were prepared for this. And, there's a reason why I had such strong guidance from, the beginning of my existence that I can remember as this being that I am on this planet. Because they were talking to me, and every time, I'm telling you, every time that I go and I see when I was 3 years old, and I can see that so perfect. I can remember it so perfect. I've always been able to remember it. I never forgot that. Because they've been talking to me the whole time. I've always known when they started talking to me. I just wanted to, and I knew I was 3. I knew I was in my grandparents. I knew it was about the water and stuff like that. But I still wanted to ask my mom, like, you remember when we were there and I gave I gave Troy that soapy water? And she's like, yeah. And I said, how old was I? And she confirmed. And then I said, and she confirmed the whole thing. Like, I can remember it just like it was yesterday. And, but every time I see that, they always show me that when they really were talking, when it started when I was really, really small, it was when I ate those baby aspirins. They always show me, and I'm standing in a crib, and I'm like, I don't know, barely over a year. And I'm standing in a crib. I still don't have hair. And because when I was 3, my hair was real long. So, but in this one, I'm standing in the crib and I still don't have hair. And so I was like a year. Like, they've been talking to me the whole time. Like, I've never been alone, which is trippy how, when my mom was praying about, why did you let this happen to Kelly? Why was she sexually abused and stuff like that? And it was like so far beyond just dad. Like, it was like, God damn. I mean, the most perpetrator was David Hall, the guy who picked me up when I was 13, and he actually, put something inside of me, his big fat finger, and carried me like I was a fucking thing. And I had shorts on, and and then he took me and that other girl into his house and threw us on his bed. This is so fucking weird. It's so weird. I mean, me and Jennifer were outside, and I was super tall and skinny. I was so lanky. Like, even when I was 13, I was 5'2". I was real tall, and compared to the other kids. And there was only one boy who was taller than me. I always had to be partnered up with him. And I always thought he looked like Frankenstein. He looked like the younger version of this guy. And I don't know. There's something with really tall people that they have, I think, a giant gene. Like, there's some, like, they don't have the full structure, but they've got some kind of a gene. Because it changes, like, the structure. There's certain structures. And I noticed that when I was a kid. And I already was thinking about these people all being, like, giants or something. I was very into giants and stuff. Like, I would watch the Land of the Giants. I was really into that stuff. Gulliver's Travels. And I just knew. I knew all that stuff was real. Like, it didn't matter when people made fun of me and thought I was silly. I knew. I just knew. But when my mom asked about, like, why would this have happened, and they told her that she was never alone. She always was with somebody. And I had told her, I had heard that long time ago, that nobody who's abused, no child is abused, is always left alone. They always have strong guidance. And I told her, I said, yeah, I've always had them talking to me. They've always been talking to me. They've always been there with me. I've told you. She's the one who always thought that was like demons and stuff. But she can't go into that. Like, she can't trust the things I say, that it's coming from, other realms, other beings that are, I don't know, trying to help me, trying to help mankind, trying to whatever. And so, but I had known that too. Like, the kids that go through trauma and stuff, it's not like you're just left alone. But but you have a lot of dark energy that can go around you, and so that's like the drop dead Fred and stuff. So you got to really go through, because I know, there's kids that are still trapped in the dark energy that haven't, their guidance is in there. I mean, the intuition and stuff, like I've said before, it's like, this girl can read my thoughts. It's trippy. But they got to get through all that dark energy to learn to trust themselves. And they're just like fucking superheroes, man. So, anyways, but people got to see, you're not a victim. You are really a superhero, but you got to do your healing and stuff. You got to get rid of that dark energy. And, but, like my mom and stuff, she doesn't listen to what I have to say when I try and tell her things about stuff. She's like, well, she's just planning on the rapture and Jesus' forgiveness. It's like, God, set your standards higher, man. Set them higher. Like, learn to forgive yourself. Learn to, I don't know, it's weird, because they don't even want to see themselves as like conscious beings, as souls and stuff. They rely on this soul to spend eternity in heaven singing at Jesus' feet. They don't want to acknowledge their soul as existence in life. I don't know, it's strange to me. But my whole life has been focused on my soul part of me. It's always been harder for me to stay in the 3D part of it. So even when things would happen to me, and situations, experiences, people would screw me over and stuff, I didn't get all caught up in that. I would go into, they would start explaining things to me and stuff. So I was more, I don't know, it seems more grounded. That's the word I keep hearing loud, is more grounded into my experience of fluctuation or movement or something. It was like a different way of moving through my experience. And other people, like, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like a staircase, and it's kind of like a steep staircase, and you've got the rail on the side, and I have awareness of the rail to help me go safely down the stairs. But the other people who are more in the dark, who are just concerned with the stairs and how they're going to get down, and they don't know to use the rail, and they just stumble and fumble through life because they don't understand that there's a rail there to help you. There's something there to help you. So they're just falling and struggling down this steep staircase, when you can take it slowly and more directly, more like with determination, like it's just, I don't know, it's just weird, because of like, I've had a lot of people fuck me over, a lot of people, and I just don't go into anger and revenge and bitterness and stuff. I've always had it in my head, like, I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know, on the bigger scale of things, there's a lot of unseen stuff that I don't know. I don't know if this is some karmic balance happening. I don't know what I've done. I don't know what they've done, but I know the universe does, and I know the universe takes care of it. And if they are doing something to literally fuck me over, the universe has got my back. There's nothing I need to do. Like, the universe is, judge and jury. It's, not really. it's not really judging and jury, but there's an automatic response. Like, you have to put things back in balance. So if you're going around fucking people over, you're going to get fucked over. Shit is going to just be fuckery in your life. If you're out there causing fuckery, fuckery will come back at you. And it will be, just nonstop stuff. And I'm sure there's people who have, screwed people over. There's somebody in particular, Tina, that was from nursing school. And, there's some people in nursing school, it's like, I'm glad the way the universe works and gets certain people out of your lives. But, she was some fuckery, I'll tell you that. And she had no problem fucking people over. And she thought it was okay because she thought she was so pretty and so adorable that, you should just be excited to be her friend. I mean, and then plus, like, I'd have girls that come and just, like, go sit down on my lap and start trying to make out with me. It's like, dude, what in the hell, It's like, what is wrong with some of these people? And, I was like, are you needy? Are you trying to play, like, what in the hell? And, so whatever with her, it was a whole fucking thing, but it was some fuckery. And I tried to help her because, of course, I was always trying to help. There's a lot of girls, started nursing school that were like me, trying to leave abusive relationships. And, a lot of people who go into nursing are they're as dysfunctional as everybody else. Like, we've all got dysfunction. And so it's, trying to help others. I don't want others to feel bad. And it's, oh my gosh, and then you go do the job. And it's so toxic. It's such a toxic job. Fuck. And, I'm so glad I'm out of that job. Fuck. Yeah, I can't believe that was my identity. So what was I going to say? So when, and how many times I'd ran back into her, so many different times, but there was a lot of girls, they were supposedly trying to leave people and trying to, get themselves together and stuff, and it was constantly trying to help people because I have always had compassion and empathy for others' pain because I had gone through pain. And I, didn't want other people. So, she was going to borrow money and she had to get a car or something. And so then gave her some money out of my school money. And then she kept it. She didn't ever give it back. And then she made this whole thing, created this big drama in school and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, some people are so game playing, manipulative and stuff, but that when you're like that energy is going to come back on you. Like, you can't go around being that kind of person and think that you're going to have some, great life. You can't make it as a manipulator. I mean, you could for a while, but like what I was telling my one daughter, it's like, this is ending. I keep telling everybody, this is ending. Those personality types, something's going to happen. They're going to die. Something's going to happen. They're not going forward. The only people going forward are going to be people who are compassionate and caring, who have an idea of, life can be better. Things can be better. I can, make my life better. It's just like a light bulb comes on. It doesn't have to be all the way turned up. You don't have to be completely, living your best life, but you're going in a direction towards you and what your desires are and what you want, and you're not willing to screw people over and hurt people. And it's also leaving behind that shallow artificial desire of, trying to, who's got the most is the winner, is leaving that behind. Because like I've said, that's the stuff that doesn't matter. That's the stuff that doesn't go anywhere. It ends up, falling down. I mean, they fucking cover shit with mud. There's a huge mud flood going. The volcano started in Iceland now. It's huge explosions coming through. I don't know what's going to happen. It's trippy when you see these people standing on these cliffs watching, and they look like these tiny people, and this giant lava shooting up. It's like, fuck, that seems dangerous as fuck. I'm like, god damn. Like, what? And maybe it's way, way far, far. I don't know. But the footage is crazy looking. And so, you know, I don't know what's percolating under there. If it is going to just, you know, do in that whole fucking place, or what the hell's going to happen. Like a Pompeii or something. And then what was the other one? Yeah, because there was a huge mud flood going on somewhere. There's so many floods and stuff going on. I can't remember where it was. Like Indonesia or something, which there was a parts of Indonesia that were already under mud, like last year or the year before. A whole fucking village or something. Where was that one though? I can see the mud going down. Oh, Norway. Norway just went. It had I don't know if it was a tsunami or what. All this water came in and huge, like took houses. Like houses were in the water, and then mud and stuff. So Norway is going through it. Lots of parts of Africa. There's all sorts of shit going on in Congo. There's like so much stuff going on. And, you know, these people who want to just keep focusing on one thing or one place and arguing, like the extreme argument that is going on over these letters, which I still don't have any idea what these letters said. I have no idea. I just know, you know, that that was an inside job, just like you know, these other tapes that have just been released. You know, it's ridiculous. Every bit of footage I've seen of it is so fucking ridiculous. And that you know, that you would, how in the fuck can you, after you have gone through, called people names, said all this shit to people, and then you see these tapes, like how in the world can you not be like, fucking feel humility? Like, whoa, fuck. Well, where's the parts that I'm looking for? Where's all the insurrection? Like, where's all that? You know, all I'm seeing is some high fives and come on in, and, you know, and fucking videos of FBI people getting ready and putting on the red hats and shit. Like, I've said this stuff for a long time. I saw it in 2020 when those riots were happening. I could see that they were putting people in different costumes and calling them different names. It was obvious. And so they've been playing this game the whole time. And so people have to see, you know, people just see. And I don't understand how there cannot be an aspect of humiliation. I mean, this is, I guess it depends on how egotistical you are, but you're here for the ego work. So something, like the more that you need to knock you down, the harder you're going to fall. And so people who are just still in denial over that, they're just, well, just prepare because you're about to be hit with a lot more. Like you tried to say that you know, that VOTE was all up and legal and shit. Like, well, be ready for that one too. You're about to be hit with a tsunami of truth. So, and that, I don't see how you can't feel some humility when you've gone around being a dick to everybody. You weren't right. And so all that footage is coming out that has got, and so many people sharing that. Oh my God. I mean, the Patriot people are on, you know, just sharing and sharing and sharing. We told you. Like all these different things. Like there's so much coming out, so many different things coming out. And it's all during so much chaos and all this. But it's, you know, it's all about the individual. And, but the people all caught up. It's like, what I for sure know is that was an inside job. That the OSMOA, you know, that fella, the letters, the author, we'll just call him the author. The author is, I don't know what he wrote, but he was friends with them. Like, he was friends with those people who have bushes, like those people. They were friends. There was so much evidence of that, and that they had, it was like they worked together to do this. And I would assume that the letters that the author has put out, that they were exposing some of that kind of thing, and that they were definitely exposing the corruption of the industrial complex, and that I don't understand why you have these people. Like, there's some big accounts who were like fucking crying, like, over, well, you've never lost anybody. You didn't lose anybody at that time, and now you're saying this guy's a good guy. It's like, I haven't heard anybody say the guy's a good guy. I've heard him say, like, he's telling the truth. That he's saying, but I'm not on, like, I mean, there could be all sorts of conversations I'm not seeing. But I haven't seen anybody saying, like, the guy's a good guy. They're just saying there's more to the story. And that he's saying that we are the bad guys. And we can see that. There's a lot of us who can see that. But there's a lot of people who can't see it. Like, it's bizarre. But it's always around the same time. Okay, honey, just a minute. And so, maybe I'll just give her some more medicine real quick. Hold on. Here, need some medicine? Need some of this? You're always going to be more sore when it's raining really well. You're going. Here. Here. I'll only go a little bit longer anyways. God, I'm hungry. Oh, I want to eat. That's why it's like I can't get through fasting very good, because I always want to eat. I'm a consumer. I've got to consume my energy. Okay, let me think. Because my daughter had called. My granddaughter had called, not my daughter. And my granddaughter called on her phone, which I didn't even know she could use it like that. I thought all she had was one that could be emailed. So, I don't know. But anyway, so she called. And so I was talking to her, and she was showing me the baby and stuff. And so then my daughter was sitting over there, and she was showing me the tree and everything. And my daughter was sitting over there. And so she said, she interjected a few things and stuff, and talked a little. And but my granddaughter, she said, so when are you moving over here? And I didn't say anything. And then I said, well, I don't think I am. I said, I think I'm just going to travel around. I'm going to probably get like a van or something. I'll just travel around. But I don't think I'm going to stay anywhere. And so she was like, oh, okay. And, for all I know, my daughter's husband watched the video and saw and went and told her. And then my other daughter said there was really a rocket launch, and, maybe she's getting like a little slow roll into mom's not crazy. I don't know. And then, she said that she loved me. And it's like, I know my girls love me. I have no doubt about that. They love me, and they would be devastated if something happened to me. The whole thing is that they just don't see me. They don't accept me for who I am. They want that part of me cut out. They all want to be accepted for who they are, but nobody can accept me for who I am. And that's the awakening part that they have to see and understand. But they haven't, because I'm just, I don't know, I've been a scapegoat through their life or something. And, but I was thinking, surely she's got to, like, this call coming in like that after, surely she's probably seen, like, the rocket launch. Well, let's call Grandma and see what she's doing and show her the tree. Maybe she's just feeling a little guilty or something. I don't know, because I don't know what the conversations are on there besides that I'm crazy and, but and this daughter, when I had disappeared that one night when the helicopters were out looking for me and stuff, this was earlier in my brain injury, and I was still married to Jack Assery, the other Jack Assery, that guy, which I keep trying to remember what those husbands, if they were Rh negative too. My first two were Rh negative, and I had never even heard of it before. One of them was AB negative, and then I can't remember. if the other one was B negative, I'm positive he wasn't AB positive. Positive they were both negative. But I know the one that I spent all those years with, he 100% was AB negative. And he had a really rare, and he, because they would even pay him or something if he would donate his blood. And so, and this was a long while ago. So anyways, I know his, but the other one, I keep trying to remember, am I just remembering it wrong? And then the third one and fourth one is like, fuck, wonder if they were RH negative too. Oh, that would be weird. These certain people came into my life and they were all RH negative. I'm A positive. So anyways, I don't know. I just find that interesting that these people who came in and gave me so much grief, so many lessons. And I don't know. It's just one of those things to, you know, keep it in my pocket. Like, what does it all mean? I don't know, but it's weird. And so okay, so it was when I was, we went to some bar, and because I like to go dancing. I always want to go dancing. And he just wants to go drinking. That's all he wants to do. And I don't care about drinking. I care about dancing. And it was live music. And so we went out there, and I know there was someone else. It was like he was always, like, I don't know. He was always trying to be with other people, not with me. And he did like, you know, cute boys. Not boys, men. But, you know, ones that were pretty. And he didn't seem to really be too into girls, except for, you know, I don't want to tell too much, but anyways, you know, he had sides of him where I was like, I don't know about you. And so there was lots of times that we would be out. Every time we ever went out turned into a disaster. Every time. Like, you know, I mean, I was just in this ridiculous pattern. I'm so glad how things went. Even though it seems hard and horrible at the time and you're pushed beyond your limits. But once you get through it, it's like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh, my God, if I was still living that way. Fuck. What a fucking nightmare. So, but this night, I just remember he was, I don't know, involved with some guy at the table. And I wanted to dance. I'm probably out there dancing by myself because I've got no problem with that. I like to dance by myself. And so then, I don't remember. I know I had had a drink or two. Sometimes I would have a drink or two just to be able to handle him. Like, this guy would be drunk off his ass. Like, yeah, I mean, that's where he wanted to stay. Like, I would always be like, isn't there a certain point where it's like not fun? Like, once you're drunk, like, why do you keep going past that? Oh, he had no idea. It's like, well, shouldn't you work on that? Like, wouldn't that be just something you wanted to work on in your life? But, you know, that's very challenging. You know, you shouldn't challenge somebody like that. So, you make them want to kill themselves. So then, whatever happened, he pissed me off. And so I left. And I, you know, it was earlier in my brain injury, and I had a real problem with a lot of different things. And so I thought I was close to home. Like, in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm just down the road. I'll just walk up to Nevada. I'll be home. And so I'm walking from this bar. I'm walking down this road. It's a busy road. Like, this is way out. And I was walking down this road, and I was like, fuck, this is long, man. And I was like, okay, but once I get up there, I'll be on Nevada. I'll be close to home. And a cop pulls up next to me and asks me something. And I said, well, I think I might have even said I have a brain injury. And I said, could I get a ride? I need a ride home. And he goes, that's not my job. And I didn't have my phone. I didn't have my purse. I didn't have anything. It was probably in the pickup of my husband's truck or something. And so I had nothing, you know, I'm just walking. And so this cop was like, yeah, it's not my job, and leaves me. And so I just keep walking and walking. I get down to the end of the road, and then I see, oh my God, I'm on a highway. I'm way out in Meade. I'm like way far. And I looked down and I'm like, oh, fuck, that's a long ass way I got to go. And then I was like, dang, I forgot. It was like I would have all these experiences, like, because I would be so sure in my head. And then I would be somewhere and be like, this isn't at all what I thought. It was like I was having all of these weird experiences happening. It was like some hard stuff in the beginning of my brain injury for sure. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. So I start walking and some guy pulls up and he goes, you need a ride? And I was like, and I would never get in the car. Like I used to hitchhike all the time. But then once they started, cutting people's arms off and shit, I stopped. And so I would not get in a car with a stranger usually. And I was like, okay, sure. Get in the car with a stranger. I think I checked the locks right away. And he asked me where I wanted to go, and I told him, and he took me up to my daughter's house. And they both lived on the same street. So I go to the first daughter's house and knock on the door, knock, 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 knock. And this guy has left now. And so he did take me where I was going. He didn't try and assault me. He was really a kind person. If you ever see this, like you were a kind gentleman who took me where I needed to go and didn't do anything weird or pervy or sickening. But it did write me a story. I wrote a book came to my mind through this experience. And I even tried to get somebody to help me write it. I really wanted to write it. I was like, oh my God, this is a good book. And so I go to the door, I'm knocking and knocking. Nobody comes. So I leave and I go down. And maybe he was still there and he drove me to the other daughter's house. And then he left me at that one. And I went up and I knocked, and she heard, like, her dog started barking or something. And they came down and they said, what are you doing here? And I think I said, I got in a fight with with Rich and stuff. And I said, I just want to go to bed or whatever. And so they said, just go up and go to sleep in my granddaughter's room. And so I went up and I just went to bed and I went to sleep and didn't think anything about it. And so I don't know, while all this is going on, there's helicopters and stuff out looking for me. That my dramatic, ex, it was so, oh my God. There was, family members were there. People were being called. Then people are out in the parking lot of this bar now. He is crying. He's this huge drama. Of course, it's all about him. And this huge drama is happening. And there's police, people trying to talk to him. And he's just bawling. And, he's lost me. And this, she has a brain injury. She doesn't even know where she's at and all this stuff. And so they have helicopters out flying around looking for me. It made Spokane news. And that one cop, he should have known. He's the one fucking pulled over and asked me if I needed a ride. And he's like, it's not my job. So they knew around where I was, and they were flying around there. And then they called off the search or whatever. And so I'm just, sleeping. So somebody, I guess, called my daughter when she had got to her phone. I don't know if they called and woke her up, but it was still really early in the morning. It was like 5 or 6 in the morning. Like I'd probably only been asleep like an hour or two. And all of a sudden they come bursting in the bedroom and, did you know you're missing? I was like, no, what are you talking about? And they said, you're missing. There's helicopters out looking for you and stuff. And my one daughter, the one who called yesterday, she called and she was bawling. Oh my gosh, she was the most distraught out of them all. And that is why, and she had a lot of, she was younger then, and she was just nonstop talking shit about me to her kids. And, she was so hateful about me. But there's that love-hate thing. I hate everything about you, but I can't lose you. I love you too much. I can't lose you. You matter way too much. And so she's having that battle. And so she was very distraught. She had the hardest time. She was bawling. The other ones were crying too. Not the one I was at her house. She was just like, oh my God, this is so weird. And we were all like, especially the one that hates you the most. She's the most upset. She's the most doesn't want to lose you and freak out. So then there was even a whole thing. I was going to be on a tracker. I was going to have a tracker on me because they were like, nobody can keep up. Like, I would just wander off. And then he would always make it into a drama. Like, every time we go in the store, she just wanders off. She just wanders off here, wanders off there. He'd tell my lawyer. She just, when I said 3 daughters came to testify in court, there was the one daughter who didn't. And this is, my attorney was like, no, we're not having that daughter come. Or no, tell them what she'll say on the stand. And the one who I say would be on Good Morning America saying I was a fucking phony. So she just always had this attitude that to me is like, this is past life. This is some kind of past life thing. That's why I say all the time, some of these problems that we have with people are so much deeper than we know, and we can't get all caught up in the drama and stuff. Some of these things are playing out. It's scripted. So some of this stuff is playing out. Like, you don't have to go and do things. It's playing out. And so you just go along with the ride, man, and realize that there's things that are being cleaned up and going full circle from other lives and stuff, and you don't always have the awareness. I don't know where we're at in our soul's journey. I don't know what different things that we have going on, but I do think that this awakening part is going to clean up a lot of stuff, because they've all been like locking in with their attitude towards me, but it's not based on, because they don't know what's really going on in the world. So I just seem like a crazy psycho. But once they see what's really going on, and they see my role is very different than what they thought, then inside of them, they have to process and go through that realization, like, oh my God, she wasn't a psycho. She wasn't this, like all this was really happening, and she was out there trying to help people. And like, it's going to be very different, but it's been mind-blowing, to say the least, to go through the experience and to have to see from my perspective and feel what it feels like, because I've got things to process, to be so rejected, to work as a professional in that medical, and then to, what everything I said was just garbage, and people who weren't even working in medical, the academics, listen to them. And then they've all got this stuff that I'm sure everybody's got some sort of fucking bullshit inside of them to make them sick. I mean, my one daughter, she gets sick every fucking few weeks. And so it's like, because they put stuff in you to make you get sick over and over, because that's how they make money. They want to make money off of you being sick. That's how this world runs. It's run off sickness. It's run off disease. It's run off lies. It's run off deceit. It's run off victims. And so you got to see your role. You got to, make an effort to change it, to stop playing the victim, stop participating, stop being the glutton, stop being the consumer. Like, the amount of consumerism going on right now, like, I mean, Christmas. People have no money, but, how we can get our Christmas presents. Everybody's got their trees up already. Everybody's getting ready for the holidays and stuff. They're just all so trying to continue the 3D lifestyle, the thing that they thought they were here for. But the rug's going to be pulled out from under everybody to see, like, no, you're here for this transition, actually. You locked in on certain parts of yourself over here, but now you're going to go through this transition where you got to question everything about yourself and release everything you thought you were, so that you can become who you're going to be. And it's like a whole process, and it's just wild, because, like, I mean, even me as a spiritual person who had strong guidance, who tried to tell my kids who were going, through this journey and stuff, and they couldn't hear me. Like, I'm sure that they would all say, yeah, I mean, I talked about reincarnation ever since they were little. Like, all the things that I believed and talked, I mean, they knew we had a Buddha out front. They knew why I believed in Buddhism. It was all because they believed that you were born over and over. And so I was like, this represents me more than anything else. And so, they knew that, like I said that stuff, but they just don't log that in as spiritual for some reason, because this new spiritual movement's not about that. This new spiritual movement's about, I don't know, love and light, and I don't even fucking know. It's like, because there's truth in all things, but there's a distortion that's always going on, a controlling distortion. But there's truth. They have some truth. Everybody's got some truth. Confirmation. So the spiritual people have truth. But the thing is you got to go internal. You got to go inside of yourself, and that is where the real truth is. There's this world's just so artificial, and you can't see it through other people's eyes. You have to see it through your own. And even me trying to get my kids to understand, you're born over and over and over. I guess when you have a dad who's telling you that there is no, it's so weird. It's so weird how he's so into nature and plants and growing things and birds and all this stuff. And he's always been somebody who's like go out and camp and all of ever since he was young. Like he never even got married until he was 36. He was just one of those guys who was very go out and do his own thing and was always outdoorsy and stuff. And that's why he totally looked down on me. He was outdoorsy. He was like more nature, and I was shallow and superficial. I had done drugs, which he did drugs too. Don't fucking pretend like you didn't. I fucking saw. And so, but I lived a different childhood. I lived a different life. I was, he was a football king and basketball king and all of that, and newspaper and stuff. And I was, out having acid parties. So we were very different. And I was much younger than him. And I was into dancing and going, great night to me is go out and listen to a band and dance all night. And that is like, that's how I could live all of my time. And so, and he was not. It was weird because he was into music, but he was into folk music. Like his music had to be the music that was playing all the time. And then there was a few bands that there was some crossover where I was like, okay, I really like them. I like Bob Dylan. I like Joan Armatrading. I like Van Morrison. So there would be some of that would be played all the time. But I just don't know how he got to be so much more in charge of how they saw the world. Like, I don't know how that came to be. How they all got so much, to not believe that there's, an afterlife. Like, it's not an afterlife, it's our real life. Like, I don't know. It just seems like when you have a mom who is a certain way, it seems like, that the kid, especially I go in and pray with them, and, I'd always talk about the universe, and the universe takes care of that. Well, that's a universe. Well, I was always, I wasn't ever hiding that. I was always speaking my truth. So, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's a fascinating thing when I look back. It's like, how did this person get them to be so, to think I was such a weirdo, so crazy, and, make fun of me and stuff. So, I don't know. I don't know. But, it's all deeper than what I can probably understand. I mean, even with him, there's probably some really deep soul cycle that is ending and stuff. But, the thing is I'm in the part of the witnessing. I'm in the part of seeing the truth. And they haven't reached that part yet. Their truth will be when it flips, because they're just, all they see is the darkness. And through my transition, I've had to see the truth and see, the relationships and, my role and my not role, my not being there in some aspects of me, or being overridden somehow, overshadowed. Like, I don't know. But it all goes together. It's not something that I need to go and fix or something. It's just things that you notice and you witness and you see. But I know that their part of seeing is going to be when the flip happens. And it was weird how much I've tried to buffer that through. And I knew I was trying to buffer it. I knew I was trying to buffer it throughout. And I still feel like there's still a little bit of me trying to buffer it with my oldest daughter. But even when not my oldest daughter, the one who called me and was talking about what's going on in her job and stuff. And Because she's always like, you've been saying this so long. And I'm like, yeah, but this stuff is happening. Y'all just don't pay any attention. Every fucking thing. Like, it's almost like since 2015, I wrote the book of what was going to happen. Every fucking thing I've said has been happening exactly the way I said it was going to happen. So, you know, explain that. So, but, you know, when you are real locked in, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's always going to make sense when everything flips. And then they're going to see things that they hadn't seen, things about me they hadn't seen. And then, you know, then they got to go through the process of, why didn't I see that? Why didn't I understand that? Why am I this way? Why did I do it that way? You know, you got to go through the process. I've already been going through the process. They haven't started it yet. But they've got the build up. Everybody's locking in. And I don't know where it's all headed, you know. I mean, I know we all have this stuff. We all have these relationships and stuff. Just don't get caught up all in this stuff. Just remember that a lot of this stuff is happening naturally. And you don't have to go out and force anything, because it's already started. I mean, there's already people out there just with the release of these tapes. They're already out there, you know, and then with the author's letters, you know, there's all these people out there just saying all sorts of stuff. And it's just like, you know, I don't know. So, but anyways, what we still have holding on to for this weekend, even though the grid did not go down, and we still have power at this very moment, which I'm so tripped out about how fast that downloaded yesterday. I'm gonna try and do the same technique and see, but sometimes I'll do that. I'll try and do the same thing and see if it does the same, and then it won't. So there's something more, but I'm gonna try and see if I can get this one to download real quick again too. But the because I'm seeing these people locking in of, you know, well, we told you. Yeah, you should have listened to us. Well, you know, you should have listened to us. It's like, you guys, that's your ego talking. Don't get caught up in that. You know, don't forget, everything is going to come back on you. And so if you're being heartless and hateful towards people, the energy is going to come back on you. You want to be more compassionate and caring and understand they literally could not see it. They could not see what they could not see. It was for an unveiling. Everyone's veil comes off at different times. And it's all for an impact. It's all for these soul cycles, these soul things that are going on. There's a lot of stuff, I think, that's going to be worked out with some of these people. You know, I'm not doing anything. The universe will do it. The universe will show them, and then they will have to process. And what people can't process and go face themselves will be the people who will take, you know, their exit. They'll exit out. Some by their own hand and some by, you know, but nobody can exit unless it's their time. Just remember that. Because a lot of people think, oh, they killed themselves, they left early. No, you cannot. It's impossible. You can go fucking, I mean, you can go try and kill yourself, and, you know, I mean, if that's going to be your time, then we'll go. And that was always going to be the way it was going to go down. And you can also try and have a horrible thing happen, and then you have an injury because you're playing around with the universe. Like, don't fuck around, man. Don't fuck around. And so don't get caught up in thinking when somebody takes their own life that they took it early. No, you cannot get out before your time. It's impossible. Like, it's just literally impossible. And your time is set, and your exit is set. So the people who are going to take that time out, who are going to leave the game by the means of their own hand due to their own inability to face their own demons, their own self, that is their role. That's their exit. That's their thing that they face when they get to the other side. So there's going to be a lot of that. And let me think for a second, because something was just coming in real quick. Oh yeah, okay. So the thing that we can hold on to for this weekend is this this compliancy number, this 2011.012 that the banks have to be compliant with. as of this weekend, which I don't know which day, Saturday or Sunday, but there's another compliancy issue that if they don't meet this standard, so we should see, even if they don't shut them all down, we should see another big week of a lot of that drama go. We'll see. We'll see. But even if, just remember, even if as things are slow and drag and it's like, oh my God, how long can they drag this out? Let's fucking let's move on this shit. Just, really take notice of what's really happening, of how much is really being exposed and shown, because it's a soft open. This is a soft opening of the mind, because the hard open is going to be dramatic and it's going to be painful. So this is the soft open. And so even though it's like drags, especially for us who have been going through this for years and years and years and being called crazy and stupid and all this wacky shit, that, this is, it has to be the slow pull off the band. It was very slow so that people can, slowly wake up and slowly come to a state of consciousness and awareness. And then they all start going into panic and, oh, I can't believe I was tricked. And, oh my God, this world and the lies. And, it's a process. It's, just the same thing as a death. There's stages that you got to go through. Oh, my stomach is going crazy. It's like, you are not going to not eat. No, you're not feeding. You're feeding me. You're feeding me. So anyways, just remember that this is happening for, our loved ones, so that they can wake up and see, it's like wake up and smell the coffee before they have to get up and see the storm out the window. So they get this waking up period, and then they're going to be bombarded, and it's going to come fast. Like when it hits them, you're going to see why they needed to do this other part so slow, because I think they're trying to de-escalate a lot of violence, a lot of anger, a lot of sadness, a lot of depression, but it's still going to be going, and it's still going to be extreme. But then just remember that some of these people who you have the deepest problems with, that this is, when this goes full circle, that they are going to get their part. Like you've seen yours, and you've processed through your pain, but now they will. And so, there's going to be it'll be a lot of mending of relationships, a lot of healing, but it's got to go through the scene, so there's still parts, like there's still a lot of parts that have to play out. But if the bank things go down, like more bank things go down, like of course that's good for us. And there's already another thing coming out and saying that all of the debt, every single bit of debt, is all illegal. Like I've been saying for a long time, there's been a judge, there's been a whole bunch of things, but this thing is talking about, because of the currency, and the currency was illegal, and it was a trap, that all the contracts that were based on that currency are all illegal. That they, and that there's a whole process you can even go through, and that they have to relieve you of all your debt. Like you can follow the process and file the paperwork and stuff like that. But that to me is still giving them power. Like I'm getting, like I got some letters from realtors. Oh, your house is going up for auction, and we're trying to help and stuff. It's like, fuck off. I'm not giving them any of them the power. No matter how this all plays out, I'm not giving them any of my energy. I'm not giving them any of my power. I'm staying focused on my rights, and that they're illegal, they're corrupt. I don't give a fuck what they say. And trust the universe that wherever I'm going and whatever happens next is the way it's supposed to happen, and it's where I'm supposed to be, and it's not something that I need to stress out about. And so but filling out all those papers to me is like giving them power, still saying like, well, you have power because I have to acknowledge I have to take a knee to say that I'm not going to take a knee. And to me, it's like, I'm not taking a knee. I'm not giving you the power. You don't have power over me. You come at me, then I will start saying, you're going against my human rights. and I will stand up for them. And I think we're pretty safe in doing so, because I think that the universe has our back right now on the whole thing. But, you know, it's going to play out the way it's going to play out. And so, but there's way more coming out about all of the debt. All of that stuff is illegal. Like, nobody has to be paying their shit. It was all illegal. And, but there is some kind of a code, and you can fill out the papers, you can send it in, and it relieves you from all of the debt. Once you say, hey, I know this is illegal, and you can't do this to me. I have human rights. And then they say, okay, we won't do it anymore. You don't have to pay. Here's your deed. Here's your title. You know, so people are getting that stuff. So you can follow through on that part of it. And I'm not sure. I saved the video where I heard a guy talking about it, and I can look it up and find the code, or I can share the video in the comments or something. And but it's just a little, and then I wanted to go and see the person, but it's one of those where somebody has shared somebody else's, so I couldn't find the person's video, because he said he'll help you. If you can find him, he'll help you do it, and he will do it for no charge. But then you can't find the source of where the video came from, because all these people go and take these people's videos and make their own thing out of it. So anyways, I best be getting going. So, you know, we'll see how this day goes. We'll see how this week goes. But, you know, no matter what, we're always moving forward. We're always, you know, full speed ahead towards our best future, towards our age of Aquarius. That's where, there you go, Crystal. I was trying to wait for you to get that. Okay, so anyways, we'll do what you gotta do for this day, and stay safe, and just stay hopeful. Don't get down. So many people are losing hope. Don't lose hope. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.